Kia ora. This is going to be a book review of all of the Penguin Black Classics that I own based on the cover of the books. So, first up, we have two major categories. There is the new cover design and the old cover design. So, we'll go over the old cover design using the Metamorphosis and Other Stories by Franz Kafka as an example because it is fairly emblematic of um, these covers. So first up, both of the covers are in black, but and they both have sort of an black and white with orange finish um, to them, and that's consistent with both versions. Whereas this one, the band is a lot smaller and it has the penguin icon with orange, although some of them I think are in black and white. It says Penguin Classics. It's got an artwork that generally relates to the story in terms of it can relate to the story in terms of setting, or it can be a historical piece from the era, or it can be something reflective in that culture of um, something about the novel or the classic. In this case, it is sort of a kind of a postmodern um, performing arts piece for Franz Kafka, which is very fitting. But then again, this artwork is a bit more modern, more photographic than some of the other Penguin classics, which are more like historical artworks. And then this one has the title in italics and white, and the name in orange, and then um, the same on the spine. Now, what I like about this design is it's very uniform and it looks very nice on the shelf. Um, it's got a very like recognizable, iconic, absolutely iconic style. There's one thing about Penguin books and their mainline series is they're all very iconic, and they're very standardized and uniform, and they look really nice on a shelf. Um, and general notes of the old Penguin Classics design is the title and author name are a little hard to read. The orange contrasts on the black, but not strongly enough to really read, especially if you're colorblind like myself. Um, it's not immediately obvious that it says Franz Kafka. It's not as high impact as would like. And the title in italics is also similarly hard to read. So it doesn't convey important information of who this is by, and what book this is in as clear as it can, which we'll see with the other one. And then same on the spine. It's not easily readable. You have to really go up and inspect them. But they do look really nice on the shelf, and I know a lot of people prefer this older design to the newer one. But yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. I think all of the artworks that they show, not all of them, but like a lot of the artworks are quite good and very reflective of the work itself. Obviously, there's a lot of variation on how good I think the artworks are and how fitting they are. But it's nice that each work has a piece of art associated with it, which is, a very nice touch to the series, and goes a lot to identifying the character of the book. On the back, uh, this one just has a quote in orange and then has a short description about what you would find in it and includes the translator. So, and then there's some credits at the bottom of who created the artwork and, just standard book stuff. Um, Yeah, I mean, it does convey, this book in particular conveys the necessary information and gives you a sample of what you would expect from the contents of this. These books are definitely, like, Penguin Classics tend to be like, they tend to be quite upfront about what the book is about and what kind of experience you are. They're not trying to hide the contents of the book in any way. And you'll find in a lot of the introductions, although this is veering out of cover design, and a lot of the introductions, it's fairly explicit about what the work is and what its contents are. Um, so yeah, that's that. I quite like this design. They look very nice on the shelf. Um, I'll give this um, an A in terms of how it looks on the shelf, but in my opinion, it's marked down by legibility. I wish it was a little bit more obvious what this book was, even though it's clearly a classic. And then the new design. So we're going to use the Epic of Gilgamesh as an example, although the Epic of Gilgamesh does not have the author name, because obviously the author is unknown. Um, but yeah, the Epic of Gilgamesh. First thing you notice is the orange, although this is, maybe we'll grab another one. Um, we'll grab Republic of Plato because this has the author name. So you'll notice that the author name is in white. So strongly contrasting with the black of the image. And then it has a horizontal bar, very thin horizontal bar in orange. And then it has the name of the work, in this case, Republic. Um, and it's mirrored on the side. So name, and I don't know if you can see it in the viewfinder, but there's a little orange bar, and then Plato. So yeah, first thing to note, and also the new versions tend to note the translator. They're a lot more consistent with identifying who translated this work, as translators have been given more visibility and hopefully get more visible, because it's important to acknowledge translators and the work that they do. But yeah, the this has the title, it has an artwork, and also we'll go back to, we'll just compare these two. We'll go back to the Epic of Gilgamesh, and it also has the the white bar is much larger, and the penguin is unbound. He's no longer in his orange cocoon or egg or whatever. And the Penguin Classics is in orange. So the first thing is the title is a lot more readable, and the author, although this one doesn't have an author, is also a lot more readable as well. And I quite like that change. Also, the back, the text is slightly bigger and clearer, and there's no orange text. Um, so it's a lot more readable. You can easily pick this up, and even if you have slightly bad eyesight, you'll be able to know what this is about. Um, the the yeah, so it's more readable. I also like the larger white bar. I think it provides like a more sort of modern, kind of contemporary look, where this does look a bit dated. It looks 21st century, but it looks kind of dated, in my opinion, whereas this looks like a new book. It's got that very like sleek contemporary design to it, and the orange is kept, but it's generally only in the text of the Penguin Classics and that small orange bar, which is not present on this one because it does not have an author. So it still has that orange red oh no, not orange, red, orange, white, and black um, color palette going on, but it's bit the orange is a bit more subdued and less in your face, but it's still present. In turn, yeah, mainly I just like the fact that it's more readable. I prefer the larger white bars. It does look awkward when both are stacked up on the shelf. It is nice that these classics are generally the same height, so it doesn't look too weird having these juxtaposed beside each other. But I do like to separate out the newer versions from the older versions. Um, so that's kind of general notes on Penguin Classics. And they also updated a lot of the artworks in the new versions. So yeah, we've got this is the the Bull of Heaven. The details from Winged Bull. Um, detail from Winged Bull. This is an ancient, not Sumerian, ancient Assyrian artwork, and yeah, so that's the general notes. It took quite a while. Um, I think I'll split this into two parts. So this first part is just going to be explaining the general notes that I have of Penguin Classics in like overall, and then the second half will be my specific takes on individual classics. So I really like this design. I think this is a better design, and I think moving forwards, we're going to be glad that they're more legible and more visually obvious, look better on camera for the camera to pick up the names, which is important in this connected age. Um, this will have like a nostalgia kind of prestige to it. You know, a lot of people this when they started collecting classics, this is what was available, and this is what is available in a lot of secondhand stores. But I personally prefer the new. Uh, I personally prefer the new design to the old design. But I think they both look good, and they importantly look fine together. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.